Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the recipe book tutorial. So we're going to get started with a waterfall page, and we're going to need two 5¼ by 7¼ pieces. This is what we're going to place our waterfall page on. We're also going to need 4¼ by 5¼ ½ inch at the top. We've got a pocket 5¾ by 2 ½ inch on 3 sides. And we're just going to reinforce our score lines for our waterfall pages. Now this is going to make two separate pages. So everything I'm doing in twos is because you've got two of these in each one of your books. So we're going to start by lining up our waterfall with the very bottom of your page, and you're just going to attach it directly to the bottom. So this is your starting point for your waterfall. Perfect. Just like that. And then each one of your pages that goes on top is going to sit right on top of the other one. So super easy. It's a ½ inch in between each page. So you're just going to attach it exactly right above it, and that's going to give you a nice little waterfall effect. So we're just going to attach all of our pages down. It sits right on top of the one below it. And there it is. So here's all the pages all done. Now we're going to place the pocket on the bottom, but before we put the pocket, we want to put our paper. So I'm going to pick out a paper that I like, and I'm going to place it down. And this one happened to work out perfectly because I could use the extra that I cut off of that one for the front of my pocket. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you here is after you've attached this, I added, and I didn't put it in the tutorial, but I did add a strap. And the reason why I added a strap is because it was a little bit bulky, and I wanted to hold it flat when I wasn't using the book. So I added a strap. So before you add your pattern paper to this pocket, you want to, if you're going to use a strap, you're going to want to put the magnet underneath between the pocket and the page. And I put a little note here to remind you, a magnet between the pocket and your pattern paper, kind of right in the middle. That's if you're going to use the strap. So I'm going to place that down. I ended up as an afterthought doing it, so I had to pull some stuff apart, but if you want to do it, this is where that step would go in. Now each one of my waterfall pages is going to have the recipe cards. So I'm going to get all my recipe cards out. This is just a good time to add them so you don't have to do it later. So I'm going to add all of my cards down. And I hadn't finished printing out all of my recipe cards, so I ended up having to finish adding them all later, but I'll show you just a couple and how they look. Now, if you have enough pattern paper and you want to, you can add pattern paper before you put your recipe cards down, just so that you don't have just that black border. But I thought this looked cute just the way it was. I thought pattern paper would be kind of an overkill, so I left it the way it is. But then I did go back and I added a strip to the bottom of each one of those papers, which you'll see later when we do the walkthrough on the tutorial. So here's our first page. Just kind of recap that this is what the first little section looks like, and you're going to do two of these because you've got enough pages to do two of each one of these things in your book. So this is your second page, and this is your waterfall. We're going to attach this right directly down to the page, and here's where I'm showing you your strap. And those are the dimensions, and you're going to cut two patterned and one black cardstock, and you're going to put them together. And then I'll show you later, since hopefully you're watching this, but here's the instructions where you're going to just score 1 inch at the top. So it's 1 by 8, score 1 inch at the top, and then I'll show you later on how you add that before you do this. So you don't add your page, you've got to put your strap behind there, so it'll look like this. On the other page, because it's so thick, we can't really do two of anything on each page. We're going to do pockets. So for every page that is opposite of what we're doing, we're going to put a pocket page. So we're going to cover the page with pattern paper. Here I'm showing you how I did the strap. So see, it's behind that page. So before you adhere that page, you want to adhere your strap. And you want your magnet right there behind that one and right there behind that one. And then that way when you pull your strap over, it just snaps together right there. Perfect. And it holds all your papers shut. Now on the other page, your pocket is 5½ by 6, ½ inch on 3 sides. And then depending on how you want to do it, if you want to cut an angle or if you want to do this with just cut out, that's a big old circle punch where I just cut out like a little piece of it. However you want to decorate your pockets is totally up to you, but for this one I decided to do the punch on the top. Now for our next page, this is kind of the idea behind it. We're going to do a 5 by 7 1/4. We're also going to do a pocket page, 5.5 by 3.5, score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. 4.5 by 7, 1/2 inch on one of the edges. It doesn't matter either side of the longer side of your page, because you can change these up. You don't have to do it exactly the same as me. You can change your sizes, you can change your placement, you do whatever you like, but all the measurements are right there at the top. So if you need to pause and go back and see where everything is, I made sure I had all the measurements there for you. And now we're just going to start attaching these down onto our base page. So I'm just going to line them up on the edges and just kind of attach them in the same sequence as you would like to flip them. So my idea here was I made a gatefold album years and years and years ago, and I loved the way that the pages were different sizes and they kind of folded in together. So that was my idea with this page, was to just kind of do that kind of gatefold. So just decide which ones are going to go on top of which, and then just kind of adhere them down. And I wanted to have one great big one so that if I had like a really intricate recipe with a lot of instructions and a lot of ingredients, I could use these big pages for that. That's why I made myself a big recipe page. But like I said, you can make these any size you want. I'm going to attach my last one in there, and then that will complete this part. Now inside of this, I've got a little pocket, because I love pockets, so everything has pockets. So I'm just going to take that pocket that you had your measurements for already, and we're going to place it right there, but we want to put some pattern paper down first. So I'm just going to trim this down and place it, and then I'm going to place my pocket. In this pocket, your measurement is correct. My measurement when I was doing this is not. So mine is a little bit shorter on the edges than yours will be. I made sure to go back and remeasure everything so that you guys got the good measurements, and I'm the one that messed it up. So now I'm going to place down all of my recipe cards, front and back. I just think this looks so cute, the way you just flip through the pages and they're all different. I don't know, I just like that. And there it is. So now we're going to attach it to our book. So we want to put some nice strong adhesive on the back. I used my score tape and I taped it up like crazy. And then I placed it right in the middle of my page. And then you can see I've got the pocket on the other side. And on the very last page, I just showed you the measurements for the last page. There's 2 pockets there. So you're going to want to make your 2 pockets on the other side. Just pause there, look at the sizes. And now we're going to start on the cover. So for the cover for this, I wanted to do, I wanted each thing to be backed on chipboard. So that's what that is off to the side. That's black chipboard. And I basically cut down everything to go onto chipboard. So I'll show you as we're going. I also got this cute little fork and knife from my stash. And each one of these pages here, the papers, pattern paper, I'm going to back with the chipboard. Sorry, I got ahead of myself here. We're going to take this little guy, and I'm going to use my crocodile, and I just added some eyelets to it so that I could put some jute. I guess that's what's called, jute, natural. And I'm just going to I just wanted to put some fibers on the cover because I thought it would look really cute. So I'm just going to knot either side of this. This is one of my ephemera pieces. I had so much ephemera left over. I'm actually quite excited because I can make so much more stuff. And because I owned all of the files to reprint all these pages, I can just keep going. I don't even have to go out and buy more paper. I can just keep printing. So I'm going to add down my page that I chose for my top, and I wanted you to be able to see cookbook. So I'm kind of like placing everything around that so you can see the word cookbook on the top. And like I said, I have backed everything with chipboard to give it a little bit of dimension, but not, I didn't want it to be a lot of foam adhesive because I wanted it to be real sturdy. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to use my art glitter glue to hold everything down. And double-sided, those reverse tweezers, my best friend. Did the same exact thing to the bottom, and now I'm going to back each one of these pages with the chipboard. I'm going to glue those down. Makes it nice and sturdy, but gives it some dimension, so it doesn't look so flat. I'm going to place that where you can see the word cookbook. For the next page on top of this one, I used that striped paper, and I used 2 pieces of chipboard, so that's doubled. I'm going to place it down, and then I realized that I forgot to put my farm to table, my little sign up there, so I'm going to hurry up and try to grab it off of the top before it sets. And thankfully I was able to pull it up without ruining my paper, because I want to place the my little sign, the farm to table, at the top. So I'm just going to use some foam to prop it up, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to secure the ends there with some score tape. And then I'll just use my glue and glue it back down again. And like I said, that piece is doubled, so it has double of the black cardstock behind it, just to pop it up a little bit higher than the other one, because I wanted a little bit more dimension there. And now we're just going to start placing down our little scene here. So this is like a kitchen scene with the mom and the puppy, and she's cooking, and I just couldn't stand it. It was so adorable. I love this paper. Love, love, love. So I'm going to prop her up on some foam adhesive. You can see it all back there. I'm just kind of messing around with her to get her situated properly. We're going to also do the same thing with the puppy. We're going to prop him up, looking up at her. This is what my dogs do whenever I cook. And then I'm just going to kind of mess around and try to figure out where I want to place things. So I had my idea in my head in the beginning, and then it wasn't working out once the execution doesn't always work out the way you want. So I had to rethink where I was going to put stuff. So I decided to go on the other side, and I'm going to pop up the little jam jar. And then we just have to place our fork and our knife. So I'm going to figure out where I want them. And the best way for me to glue these down to make sure that they stayed was to use the adhesive dots, and I just kind of made them fit. For the spine, my paper wasn't long enough because I didn't save myself any of the 8x8 paper, so I had to improvise. And same thing on the back, I had to improvise on the back as well. So I just added a little strip at the bottom that matched with my little cows. This is my favorite paper, by the way, out of this pack. My absolute favorite. Place my little cows and piggies down. And then on the back, I wanted to use this, but I want to make sure I got most of the scene. So I'm just going to mark where I want my scene to be, and then I'll trim off the edges. That way I can see what I want in the middle. And then I'm going to add a little, so in my ephemera, it came with a sign that says homemade with love, and I thought that would be super cute right there on the back. And then I did add some stuff, and I'll show you here in a minute off camera, because I was trying to figure out what to do with the side and the back. So I am going to do a little bit more, but I'll explain what I did. So I went and I found myself some of my letters, and I also added the striped paper to the top and the bottom. So it just says recipes on the side and then the striped paper. So that's all I did. And then in here, I'm just going to quickly show you, I'm going to speed this way up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me think and fret about what's going to go where, but I'm just going to add a few of these pieces, and then I'll do the actual walk through the whole book so you can see where I put everything at the end of the video. So everything in here, I have so much of this ephemera, and I tried to, because that orange paper has little chickens all over it, so I tried to kind of match each little thing. Also in my stash I had some little spoons and knives and forks, so I thought those would make great little handles for these pages here where you have to open the flap. So again, I used my pop dots and I placed those on. And then I wanted to, this is me just trying to figure out what's going to go where. And I ended up changing my mind like 100 times while I was decorating this book because I didn't want to make it super thick. I wanted it to be, I wanted it to still close like normal. A lot of times I get a little crazy with the ephemera and the bulk of the book, and so then the spine really suffers for it. So this time for this book, I wanted to keep it as flat as I could on the inside so that my book would close and there would be no stress on the spine, and it actually worked out perfectly. I can sit my book down and it's exactly the right size. So for once, I actually didn't over decorate. So now I'm just going to put down these last couple pieces that I'm showing you, and then we're going to do a walkthrough of the whole book that is completely finished and done. So here's the whole thing. I'm showing you the dimension behind it, the recipes on the side, how I did the back, and then on the inside, I didn't do any decorating on this part because I thought it looked adorable the way it was. You saw me do the little chickens and the red rooster. I added a little paper clip to that because it was bugging me that it kept moving. Inside, I just added some of the tags to the inside of the pocket. Those are flat, so everything can still go in the pocket. You saw me add those. And then just kind of decorated with some of this other ephemera. I put a fork on my strap. Remember, there's the magnet is underneath that. And then just continue to decorate. So I hope you guys really like this tutorial. I've been dying to redo a recipe book, so I had a really good time doing it. And even though this was a May Made It project, you guys know that the design team is over, so I hope that you guys are here from May and that you can finish up your book and see the end of it. I let you guys know before that this was going to be after the design team part finished because I had family here, so I wasn't really able to finish this up last week, but I tried to get it out as quick as I could. I really do appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you enjoy this book. Leave me a comment, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever. I really would love to hear your comments about if you made this or not and if it came out good for you. And thank you so much. I will see you again real soon. Have a wonderful week and more news coming. So have a great week. Bye-bye.